Is that how you wanted to start the show, Larry?
Yeah. Look, that's us. I'm just kidding.
What, Tiki Barber? Are you saying I look like Tiki Barber?
No, I'm on the side, bro.
Which side are you on, Larry?
He the bald-headed
What side
guy.
you on? Stop.
Welcome to the Sportz Phenz Show, the show where, just like you, we can't get enough sports.
The 47-year wait is over, and the Nuggets win it. Wilson throwing, it's up for grabs, and it's caught for the touchdown. And the Denver Broncos have taken Super Bowl 50. And the Avalanche are 2022 Stanley Cup champions. And a shot into the back of the net for Diego Rubio.
Now here's your hosts, Arthur Knight and Larry Perkins.
1-0 Rapids. They are champions.
Yeah. Welcome to the Sportz Phenz Show live from So High Cafe. I am your host, Arthur Knight, and with me as always is Larry Perkins.
Hello.
But we would like to introduce a new correspondent to our show, Mr. Ryan I just messed up his name. Lagan?
Dude, Lagan.
We discussed it literally yesterday.
Yeah. I did hear that Lagan is the way they say it back in Ireland, but it's the American version is Lagan.
I looked it up and it's got me all messed up in my head. I've known this man for months, and it's just like it's got just looking up the Irish version is got me all messed up in my head. But anyways, welcome, Mr. Ryan Lagan.
Thanks, gentlemen. Good to be here.
All right, and he is a fan of Green Bay,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yep.
Boston.
Yep.
And what's your other squads besides App State? We all know. Well, we don't all know. We're introducing.
Yeah, right.
But he's
right,
also
right.
a fan of App
Right.
State, college-wise.
So App State, alma mater, class of 2019. So big Mountaineers fan. Grew up about 20 minutes from Storrs, Connecticut. So huge UConn Huskies fan as well.
Okay. Okay.
All Boston sports except for the Packers. Grew up with a cheesehead on my head from the time I was about a year or two old when it could actually stay in my head. So
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Before it would like.
Right. I've been in Denver for 5 years now. So definitely, if they're not playing my teams, I can pull for the Buffs, pull for Broncos, all that fun stuff. But obviously, you know how deep that loyalty runs with the teams you grow up with, for sure.
Well, welcome to the team. This team, my friend. Ryan will be dropping in and out, doing a segment we're going to call Ryan's Reacts. And he's going to give us his reactions to certain crazy sports stories. But today we're going to get into a lot of basketball. We're going to do some NBA. We are going to talk some NFL, but I just want to start off with saying we're coming to you live again from So High Cafe. That is 4300 West Alameda here in Denver. Come on by to So High Cafe and get you some barbecue from Vinny's Viper Pit Barbecue. But say hi to Vinny and tell him the Sportz Phenz sent you. All right, guys, so let's talk NFL first.
Wait, can I tell my story first?
No, no. We talked about this. No, I'm just kidding.
So
Yes. So speaking of CU, right?
Yes.
He said he could be
Yes.
a CU fan when they're not playing his squads.
Right.
You went to the CU game last night and had a crazy story to tell.
Yeah, so just wanted to address the reason that my voice isn't so buttery smooth as it normally is today.
Jazz voice.
In future weeks, it's going to sound a lot more like a mix of like a Morgan Freeman and like a David Attenborough, but you're going to have to deal with a little bit of raspiness today. So reason being, my good buddy Danny is a huge Texas Longhorns fan. So I was hanging out with him yesterday for Red River Rivalry.
That's hard to say.
It is, yeah. Lots of fun. We were at Choppers, a big Texas watch bar. That place was absolutely mobbed. And as you may have seen, they smoked them, so great energy in there.
Right.
We kind of made a little spontaneous decision. We saw some Buffs tickets for the game last night that we kind of couldn't pass up. Got a good deal. We ended up sitting 3 rows from the field, right behind the K-State bench, right at like the 50-yard line, essentially.
I can't believe how cheap you said those
That's
tickets
what I'm
actually
saying.
were.
I could not believe it. I've seen those tickets be over $300 just to get in the door in the nosebleed.
Yeah, that was crazy. That's crazy.
To pay, about half that. But anyway, Folsom Field is really cool. You're right on top of the players. You know what I mean? Like if I were to walk up to that wall, right in front of us, I could have thrown some fist bumps out. But so of course I'm chirping at the K-State players the whole game, right? Now the really fun thing was, the row behind us is all these K-State fans, and we start talking to them, and it turns out this woman sitting behind us was the K-State quarterback, Avery Johnson, his 2nd grade teacher. So, of course, I had the chirping, once I found that out, just went to a whole new level, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, Avery, your 2nd grade teacher's here. She wants to know if you did your homework, like all that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah.
On top of all the usual, you find a last name.
And yes, he did do his homework, just so we answer the question.
Wow, he is like
No, he was good.
Yeah.
That kid is good.
he's a good college taunter.
He is.
This is awesome.
Well, no, I mean, normally, you just find the last names. There was some offensive backup lineman named Bequeath. I was like, we're going to bequeath you this L, all the traditional stuff,
Not bequeath.
But yeah, but once you find some personal, info like that, it takes it to another. I was going after his hair, man. I was like, Avery, what kind of conditioner do you use? And that's when she told me she was his 2nd grade teacher. And so, yeah, it was a good time, but that's why I don't sound
And so how was she reacting to
they loved it. I mean, it was, I wasn't cussing or nothing. It was all friendly and back and forth. So at the end of the game, that whole row, they were all like, you guys are great. Like this was fun. It was good sportsmanship when all said and done. Just like Larry and I today, there's going to be a lot of chirping, but it's all, like Larry said, it's all love at the end of the day. I'm a Celtics fan.
There's going to be, you obviously Larry decided to go to war today. Because he wore his Lakers gear today. He knew we were going to talk basketball, but
I got to address this too. I feel left out today. I would have had my Jaylen Brown jersey on. These two allegedly didn't plan to both be in their jerseys today. But
I just knew what he was going to do.
Ryan,
I'm telling you, Ryan, I just knew what he was going to do.
And you didn't clue me in on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Ryan here. He is lying. I made him take that off before he came.
Yeah, right.
I said, you will not wear that here.
There's no way on our airwaves am I going to allow you to wear that jersey.
Take that off and put that brown shirt on.
Yes.
Larry is not even that physical. Like, what was the phrase? You bruise easily? Is that the phrase?
Yeah, Larry's trying to, throw some bet down where somebody's going to be running around the restaurant carrying something on their back if our predictions are wrong or something like that. And I'm like, Larry, I mean, the way that you talk about your physical state, I don't know if I'd be throwing that gauntlet down, man. But
I was like, touche, you got some personal on me. I'm going to let that slide.
Oh, man. Speaking of personal, Larry has a personal pick on who he thinks is going to be in the World Series. Would you like to
here we go.
Not only let the world know, but give it to Ryan, who you think the...
My lock for the World Series?
Yes, sir. Give it to him.
I take my Los Angeles Dodgers and Ryan's New York Yankees.
All right.
Ryan's not a Yankees fan.
Exactly.
Yeah, he knows.
He told me just save it until then, and then.
All right, Larry. What's your pick? How many games? And let me hear the LCS as well. What you got?
Well, for the LCS.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's hear it, man. You called him out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
You
get
poked
behind
the bear.
it.
The bear
Yeah.
has awoken.
Right.
Okay. First, I'm picking my Dodgers 4-2.
Okay.
I'm picking my Dodgers 4-2
Sure.
to beat up on and
And who are they playing?
The Mets.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure everybody else knows.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh.
Fair.
4-2 Dodgers over the Mets. Okay.
right, and I'm picking. Well, I'm really not paying attention to who he's playing, but the thing is, I just want to. I just want to play them in a World Series. But they're playing. Who are you guys playing? What you guys playing?
First of all, if you say you guys one more time, I'm going to go home and get my Celtics jersey and come back. The Yankees, who are not my guys, far from it, they're playing the Cleveland Guardians.
The Guardians.
Yeah.
All right.
Not the Guardians of the Galaxy, but the Guardians of
The Guardians of Cleveland, Larry. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're just making it known, we're not a lot of people.
If you're from Ohio, I'd imagine
we might have a lot of Marvel people here, so no.
Okay.
All right. That concludes our baseball segment.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
forever.
Thank you. Perfect. I love it. We never have to touch Yankees or Dodgers again.
No.
The next 2 hours,
What was your
happy.
prediction of the Yankees over the Guardians of Cleveland?
I'll pick the Yankees.
The Galaxy.
They're gonna sweep. Man, the Yankees gonna sweep them.
Really?
Yeah,
really?
Yankees gonna sweep them.
There's a hot take.
You said it was all love, man. You said we were gonna come on here and have an amicable conversation. You're out here talking.
And then you just threw darts
Yankees,
right at the man.
Yankees in 4. Come on, dude. Come on. That's outlandish.
You don't give the Guardians one game, dude?
Not one.
Not one game?
No.
They made it there too, my guy.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, you heard it here first.
Well, my predictions always fail, so.
Yeah. All right. That's good then.
Can I do my
Let's lean
apologies?
into that prediction.
Does that make you warm and fuzzy now?
No. That makes me feel better. Yeah, definitely. I told you.
Does that mean that the Guardians are going to win in 4?
If it's a Guardian Mets World Series, I will absolutely watch it. If it's Yankees Dodgers World Series, the MLB doesn't exist for the next 6 months for sure.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Yeah.
Can I get my apologies?
For what?
To my Raiders.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess
yeah.
you could do your apology
Yeah.
to your Raiders fans. Even though I just saw Pat Surtain just walked off the field, and that is a bit scary.
Yeah. You guys.
So I'm going to have to check out some news on why that happened. But yes, Larry, by all means, talk about your sorry Raiders and why they got their butts whooped last week.
Well, the thing is, listen, bro, it's all about karma, man. All right. I'm just like why you guys laughing, bro?
No. Go ahead. Finish.
I'm serious.
Go ahead. Yeah. All right.
So anyway,
I'm serious too.
Anyway, we left the show early so we can watch the game, and I kind of had something to do, and he was mad, and my team lost.
Because we should have just watched the whole game live on air like we said we were going to do.
Right. If I would have stayed, because we was up before we got off. I think if we would have just stayed live,
and then the Broncos scored like 34 unanswered
that
points.
Wouldn't have happened.
Don't forget that part.
That wouldn't have happened.
That wouldn't have happened if you would have stayed and watched the game.
If we would have stayed live and watched the whole game live, I'm guaranteeing a victory. It's so easy to say a week later.
You're saying you jinxed the game.
It's his fault. I'll give you his address. Hold up.
Yeah, all this.
See, I didn't know that part of the story, Larry.
I should have stayed the course. No.
The way Arthur described it to me, like you were just kind of pouting when stuff started turning, and that was your something to do was just to run.
No, I did have something to do.
Yeah, he had.
I wish I did.
That's different.
Because that's costed us the game.
Yeah, that was on you.
It was me. I mean. So lucky. I'm not Irish though.
So easy to say 7 days later. If I would have stayed.
You broke Gardner Minshew's heart, Larry. That's what you did.
You broke his mustache. That's what happened.
I broke his starting position.
Yeah,
Denver
right.
Broncos defense broke his mustache is what happened.
It is crooked.
No, we should talk about that though. Think about that particular throw and how big of a difference that could make in a lot of different players and staff's career trajectories. Like if Gardner, he has a man open on that play.
He overthrows the tight end.
The PS2 100-yard
that flips the game.
Run back. It's 17-3 if he throws that ball to the pylon and he hits the open man.
Or it's at least 10-3.
No, I think that was,
13-3 at bare minimum.
Yeah, right.
If he just throws it away or anything but what he did.
And we know this Broncos offense is not built to come back from big deficits like that.
Nope, they're not built to play from behind at all.
They're not built to score, to be honest. But
I wouldn't go that far. That's a bridge too far, sir.
Okay, fair. But,
hey man, but take that.
Shut up, folks. Your offense isn't built at all. So.
No. I mean, we just talking about yours. I mean, I already.
Nah. We was talking about your Raiders.
No.
So you said, can I give my apology? Can I do my apology to my Raiders fans?
I didn't say it like that. But
So here's a question I have for you, Arthur.
Fire away.
In hindsight, which is, as we know, is always 2020, right? Would you, seeing what Brock Bowers has done for the Raiders this year, knowing he was on the board when y'all took Bo Nix, and that was what a lot of people thought would be the direction y'all would go, just based on the way that you evaluated, Bo Nix as a first round talent or not, right?
Right.
Would you, going back, have taken Bowers, punted on this season, and then hoped for, I don't know if you'd get Shador, but, somebody solid in next year's draft class, or are you happy with the Bo Nix pick?
I mean, I am, actually. I've, as I said when I had to do the show by myself a couple weeks ago. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You know what? I'm finna turn defensive against both of y'all. I'm just letting y'all know right now.
I just went after the Broncos just 2 seconds ago, so I'm not coming straight at you all day, Larry.
You came at me with the whole back thing with the love seat.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Talking about I bruise easy.
I called him a banana. Said he bruised easy. Don't hurt me, please. Lord, not like this, Jesus. Not like this. Oh, thank goodness the defense stopped him. To answer your question, I'm sorry. I get squirreled.
Yeah, you're good.
So Bo Nix has progressively gotten better. Even in the game where he had -7 yards against the Jets in the first half, he's progressively gotten better within the offense. The offense has scored over 20 points at least 2 times, maybe 3 times in 4 or 5 games. Since he threw 4 interceptions, he hasn't thrown 1, except for obviously in this game off of a tip that I saw from Sutton, and it got picked off in this game. But that's the first interception he's thrown in the last 4 games. So progressively he has gotten better. And I even though Brock Bowers does look really, really, really good, I still would have done what the Broncos did. You want your franchise quarterback before Brock Bowers is nothing without anybody to throw to him.
Yep.
So I'm on board with what the Broncos did. They basically got their guy. They went with their guy that the coach wanted, and he has progressively gotten better. He's still a rookie, and he's going to have to get better as he progresses. But man, he looks, I think the kid looks good. I probably was a little overzealous when I chose him to probably be the rookie of the year. I actually have that on record that I chose for him to be rookie of the year. But the rookie of the year is clearly in Chicago.
Excuse me?
Clearly in Chicago.
Dude, Washington?
Oh, you're right.
Okay.
You're right.
I was going to say,
my bad.
man, Caleb Williams getting better.
Caleb Williams is getting better, but
Okay.
easy. Yeah, no. No, you're right. McDaniels is balling. That kid is playing so damn good.
Yeah.
They did lose today to Baltimore, but I mean, a lot of teams lose to Baltimore.
Right.
Not the Raiders.
And they played him well.
Not the Raiders.
Right.
Oh, okay. Okay, so your team isn't as sorry as everybody says. I got you.
Look at it.
They are down 3-0 to Pittsburgh, though, right now.
You guys too.
Well, yeah, we're down 3-0 to Los Angeles. Yeah.
That is an impressive win that y'all got in week 2, Larry, against in Baltimore as well.
No, that is
I gotta
impressive.
Give you credit for that, for sure.
Yeah, I watched the whole game. See, lucky.
Funny how that works, isn't it?
No, no, it's not.
So and listen, I'm not trying to say I'm out on Bo Nix. I think like you said,
He's a good
rookie.
prospect.
He would have to have lights out games from here on out.
And here's the thing: we're not, we haven't in Denver surrounded him with a ton of great weapons. I think everybody knows that. Cortland Sutton, as many touchdowns as he caught last year.
He has good enough weapons. He does not have great weapons, though, for sure.
I mean, I still am trying to scratch my head about the Tim Patrick decision at the beginning of the year, but
Tim Patrick isn't really playing right now either. I mean, the team he went to, he's not playing.
I understand that, but who'd you save that roster spot for? Marvin Mims?
next year, a Marvin Mims type player will be perfect for a Bo Nix because when he starts to because Marvin Mims is more of a stretch the field kind of guy. He's not a really route running kind of guy. He's going to run nines. He's going to run he doesn't.
He's not really a pass catching kind of guy.
Yeah, he is a pass catching kind of guy. He actually was pretty good last year, even with the sorry quarterback we had.
I know.
But he can be a pass catching kind of guy. To me, he could be that. Who played for the Bears back in the day? Utility player.
You're talking about Devin Hester?
Yes,
Yeah.
Hester. Thank you.
Sure.
Drew a blank on his name. Good call.
Yeah, I got you.
So yeah, he could be
on that one.
He could be a Devin Hester's type player. Play that slot receiver.
Yeah.
But he's a seam route runner. He's he's just a speedster, man. And right now, with the way that Bo Nix is playing, or the type of mentality he has, that's not the type of player he needs right now. He needs a great route running, and he has that. He has young, I know Franklin just had finger surgery, so he's going to be out for a little bit.
Yeah.
But he does still have some players that he can get downfield. McLaughlin, who just caught a screen pass from him just now, is one of them. But he's a running back, so
yeah. Josh Reynolds has been a really promising connection with him as well.
He does.
I will say that. Yeah.
He does. But I'm not even sure Mims is a part of this team next year.
Right.
Just because
they're not using him at all.
They're not at all. And he was drafted by this coach. This coach wanted him.
Right.
But this coach wanted him when he had a person that could throw the downfield ball. That's one thing I can say about Russell Wilson is nobody throws a prettier 20-plus yard ball than that man. Maybe. Oh man, why am I drawing blanks on names? Used to play for Baltimore. He's washed up now. Played for
Hollywood
Cleveland last
Brown.
year. No. Quarterback.
Oh, quarterback. Wait.
He played for the Browns last year. Flacco. Thank you.
Sorry.
Flacco threw a pretty 20-plus yard deep ball.
Threw the prettiest pick in
when he
Mile
beat
High
us.
a few years back.
Yeah, that was
everybody knows that.
But he could throw the long ball. He wasn't a very short, drive the ball type of. He was a run the ball, throw a tight one down or throw a nice one down. Russell Wilson was the same. And Bo Nix is not that guy yet. We've seen flashes, but he's not that guy yet. And they seem to be driving right now, even though it's 3rd and 6. The thing that Bo Nix also gives you is that he does have some legs. He's got a little bit of wheels. I wouldn't do that though, Bo.
Oh my goodness.
I wouldn't do that. He started running the wrong way. Like, what are you doing?
Looking like Shadur out there.
We'd have had to call him wrong way, Bo. Something.
Bo Picks.
That was
Bo Picks. No, that's yo quarterback.
that's a good one. I like that.
That is a good one, though. I have to admit, that was pretty good.
I mean, as long as
Did you think of that all by yourself? No, you didn't. You got that from somebody else.
As long as he sells Bo Tix, right? You
Yes.
Oh, see,
Yes,
he added
well
up.
played.
Yeah, I got
like
you.
that.
Well
got you.
played.
Yeah.
Well
It
played.
keeps us in the Bo mix,
All right, that's enough.
All right, sorry.
All right, that's enough. All right, so we did have some games earlier this morning. Let's see. So Thursday night game, we had San Francisco versus Seattle. San Francisco pulls that one out, right? The early game this morning, Chicago versus Jacksonville. Chicago put a whooping on them. 35-16.
They're looking better every week, man. I hate to say it as a Packers fan, but
Well, I was just about to get to the Packers because I was rooting for them. I had their defense, or I have their defense on my fantasy team and their kicker, and they gave me a lot of good love today, beating Arizona 34-13.
Yes, sir.
And Arizona, I mean, that game was not even as close as the score, and I know the score isn't that close, but that game was not even as close as the score indicates. Like, man, you know how to mute? Unprofessional, man. It's unprofessional. No, I'm just kidding. I do that all the time. I really do. I do that all the time. So unprofessional. No, but Green Bay pretty much mollywopped and was in control of that game. It was the only morning game that they played today, and it was entertaining if you were a Green Bay fan. But if you're an Arizona fan, that was ouch.
What do you make of Arizona, man? Like, one week they look like a playoff team, one week they look like a joke, honestly. I'm trying to nail down where exactly they're at.
Because they don't have a personality yet. Either they do have a good running back in Connor. They have a fairly good quarterback. I give Kyler Murray all the respect, even though I didn't give him the respect, and I'll admit it. In our, when we were doing our preseason show, I was saying this kid is not as good as people think he is, and he came out and he proved me wrong.
I like Kyler.
I wasn't a big fan only because I feel like he's out there playing backyard football, which isn't bad, but that was like Doug Flutie. That's what he reminds me of.
Yeah,
is a Doug Flutie type player.
Is that a short joke?
It's not a short joke because I don't have an abundance of height.
Yeah,
it's definitely not a short joke. It's just a realism joke, or not even a joke. It's just realism.
Yeah.
He's not a very big guy.
Yeah.
And he has to run for his life back there. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's a designed offense that he kind of fits, but he makes himself fit in any way, shape, or form, but it's just not sustainable. My guy, hit the mute button right here.
Sorry about that.
God, dog.
Glad you're invested in the conversation, Larry.
I know, right? I mean, you still haven't muted it, bro. We're not moving on until you mute.
Okay.
Click on the yes. No, click on it. Turn it all the way down. Turn it all the way down.
Sorry about that.
Kyler does throw a very nice ball, though, and he's young enough to have that mobility where it's not like the comparison of Russell Wilson as far as he runs around back there too much, but he can't actually move anymore.
Right.
I don't know how long his prime is going to last because of how much he relies on his mobility, but he does have the arm to. It's not like a true like Cam Newton like after his prime or something like that.
Or even like a Jordan Love.
Right.
Like a Jordan Love likes to use his legs and whatnot to extend the play. Mm-hmm. The difference is that Jordan Love's actually got some good size on him.
Yeah.
And I was not making short jokes. I just know that his offensive linemen are somewhere on average like 6'6" to 6'9", somewhere in that. And he's almost my height or just a bit taller than me. And seeing over that for the short yardage plays that you would need to have when you need to dump the ball down, right? He can't see that. So it's just like, man, if he doesn't run for his life, but then that breaks up the play, that allows defenses to shift. Sometimes or most times for him it works. Today against a great defense in Green Bay, it did not work at all in any way, shape, or form. So
I just want to, can we pause on that specific sentence you just said? You called Green Bay's defense great. I just want to soak that in for just a couple seconds.
They're pretty good.
I have watched our defense be like the thorn in our side for so many years. Mm-hmm. So I just want to express my optimism about this new DC that we got out of I think it was Boston College, if I remember right. Mm-hmm. I'm cautiously, because my heart has been broken so many times, but I'm cautiously optimistic that we may finally, because we draft, defense in the first round almost every single year. Mm-hmm. That defense
and nothing is ever really
loaded with great draft picks. And I was so happy about the Xavier McKinney signing in the offseason. So to watch this team, show this, noticeable growth on the defensive side of the ball.
They're playing complementary on offense.
Right. And I know it's early returns. It's early in the year. Like, I got to see that defense be, something to be intimidated by in December, January for sure. But I'm cautiously optimistic, and I'm so happy to hear you say that out loud.
The fact that they are playing complementary football too, their defense is really good. Their defense reminds me of the Broncos defense in the sense that as long as the offense is playing complementary, that defense is excellent. Mm-hmm. They're not built to play from behind either. Mm-hmm. But that defense is so good. They're number 2. They've been number 2 in my fantasy league. And I know that's fantasy league, but still, like, the stats don't lie. Yeah. The numbers don't lie. Yeah. They wouldn't be second in all of the leagues and number 1 or number 2 in drafted number. They're high on the starting list, et cetera, if they weren't that good.
And to put, a little bit of an asterisk on that, like obviously we know fantasy football defenses are fueled by like turnovers for sure.
Right.
And we also know that turnovers have a little bit of, I guess, randomness involved with it, right?
That's a lot of luck.
Yeah, I wouldn't say a lot of, but it's a part of it for sure. Mm-hmm. And historically, what we see is if a good defense doesn't force a lot of turnovers, or if a bad defense does, there's always some regression to the mean that you can expect with that. So I'm not trying to get too high in the Packers defense yet because they have forced as many turnovers as they have early in the season. Like, do that for a whole season, and it's a different conversation. But obviously, a big part of it is just preventing them moving the ball in the first place.
Once teams have film on what you're doing, they can start counteracting it. Yeah. To your point, they kind of have to weather the storm and make sure that they're completing, because people are going to make them change their game plan eventually.
Yeah.
The same with the Denver D,
yep.
As you can see, even the Chargers. But I think that's more of a Pat Surtain is not in the game right now.
Yeah.
Missing PS2 is a huge deal for the Denver Broncos. They have great corners, but losing the best corner is a big deal.
Yeah.
All right, so the Colts also played Tennessee this morning, snoozer game. Not going to talk too much about that.
Yeah.
Colts do win 20-17 for those who are Colts fans. Houston, we were talking about this pre-show. I was telling Larry a couple weeks back before we did, or actually, a few weeks back, when we were doing our pre-NFL predictions and whatnot, and I was telling him, as long as the quarterback for Houston could rise above everybody having film on him this year, because they have all of that film from last year to take away his options. But what the rest of the league wasn't planning on was Houston signing Stephon Diggs and Joe Mixon to the team to bolster this kid. And they've risen above it now. I mean, New England isn't any, it's not like they beat the Chiefs, okay? 41-21. Let's not get delusional. But this team has week in and week out played extremely well. And to go into New England and beat them by 20 points means that this kid really has risen above the hype. And he is who we think he is. Mm-hmm. Basically, he showed us who he is. We need to believe him.
Right.
But at this point,
you're correct. But I already picked them. Remember, we was talking about that. Even though I picked them
mm-hmm.
to win their division, but I was kind of skeptical about the
You were saying that they would be just above 500, or
right. But right now they look like they're going to win around about 14, 15 games or so.
So that's a stretch.
That's a lot.
You don't think so?
But they have won. They've won
12. 12.
Yeah.
I'd say 12.
But I don't know, because sometimes I get like, over, especially when I see something like, oh, I didn't see that coming, and he's very good.
He is very good. And the fact is, let's look at their schedule going forward.
I was just going to say, they play in an easy division for sure. So let's not discount that piece of it.
Yeah.
But they have some very tough out of division games in front of them. Don't yell at me at New York, at the Jets, but they also have to play the Lions. They have to play the Chiefs. They have to play the Ravens. Like, those are all,
right.
Could be else.
Yes.
Could be else.
But we'll see.
But Houston is not impenetrable. It's not like they can't be beaten.
Yeah.
But they're playing at such a high level right now. But it's the same thing as you said about your Green Bay Packers. We're only a quarter of the way into the season. Mm-hmm. Injuries happen. God forbid injuries happen to that team, but injuries do happen. It's a part of the sport. Other teams are still going to start to figure out a way to take away Stephon Diggs and slow down the run, especially when you come up against great defenses when they have to play Detroit. Detroit's a pretty good defense. I wouldn't say they're great, but they're solid. That's going to be a solid defense that you're not going to be able to just throw 41
looks
points
like
on.
An absolute animal, man. He looks like the next TJ Watt. Like, crazy. What he's doing
insane.
Over there.
It's insane.
But there are some winnable games around the ones that we just listed for the Texans too. Like they get the Jaguars, they get the Titans. They get like the Colts. Like they get the Titans.
That's
twice,
why I give them
actually.
about 12.
and
12 games.
And obviously the Dolphins don't look like what we thought they would be going into this year as well, and they have that one at home.
Not by any fault of other than injury.
Yeah.
Right.
Poor Tua, man.
Yeah, poor Tua, man. I really feel for that dude.
Yeah.
I really do, because he'd be so great if he didn't have issues with the headaches and the migraines and the whatever, just the concussions.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. That's what I was looking for. I'm like trying to downgrade it and stuff.
Okay?
Yeah, no, I had a
That's
concussion
not
before. It's not. It really is sad to see this man go through what he's going through. But with that said, Tampa Bay, it's pretty sad what New Orleans is going through too. That just shows how much Carr means to that team. What the Raiders are going through really shows what Carr meant to the team.
Yeah, but that's a defensive issue today. Like to get 27 points with Spencer Rattler as your quarterback in his first ever game, like you can't. That gives you a shot to win. It does.
Right.
You can't. And I'm not
allow 51 points though.
I'm not trying to take away anything from Tampa's offense, because Tampa's offense has looked really good. Shout out to Baker Mayfield, career resurgence there. Really happy for him.
Yeah, they only looked bad against the Denver Broncos. Like the Denver Broncos did really make that offense look bad, and they're not that bad.
That was a really impressive game for Denver. That was probably the most impressive game of the year for Denver. The way that one played out.
They really rattled Baker, and he had happy feet.
I mean, listen, the Bucs, they beat the Commanders by 17. They beat the Lions on the road. They beat the Eagles by 17. Obviously there was that crazy game in Atlanta on Thursday Night Football last week that could have gone either way, as we know. But Tampa looks scary. They do.
Tampa looks good.
They do.
They look good. I mean, you have to you have to kind of move that Denver game out of your mind and then look at the collective of what they've done.
Man, they have a gauntlet of a schedule though. Like the games I just listed, they still got to play Baltimore, Kansas City, and San Francisco on top of all that.
Yep.
Like I know they got they kind of finished with some easier games. Notice I'm not even bringing up the Cowboys because I don't know who they are, but
I don't think the Cowboys know who they are.
Yeah. But outside, they also are in a winnable division, but they're scary looking, man, for sure.
Yeah. I don't think they'll do much in the playoffs. I don't think they're built for that. But right now they're playing really, really good, and we'll see. We'll see, because the playoffs are a grind. It's different. The way the Denver Broncos defense played against them is how every team is going to design their defense in the playoffs against them to shut down Baker Mayfield and get him to go get happy feet and start making bad decisions, because he does that. He did that in Cleveland. He does that in Tampa Bay. But I'm going to give credit where credit's due right now, and right now they're playing really, really well. Good defense. Good D.
If I remember right, Tampa had every shot to win their AFC divisional game last season, didn't they?
They did.
Who did they play again?
Oh, I cannot remember.
Either way, I'm just saying, if they get into the playoffs with 11 wins, something like that, and they've played 6+ games against very strong playoff teams and have come out with a favorable record from those games, I don't think you can sleep on them. I think
I agree.
General consensus is the AFC is deeper than the NFC, of course, but being in the NFC, you get a couple home games, like anything can happen for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Anything you would like to elaborate on there, sir?
Well, the thing is, the NFC, because you were saying the AFC is more deeper,
Just at the top level, I think.
Okay, well, because the thing is, I think the NFC has more, championship. Like I like Detroit, I like Frisco, I like Green Bay. You know what I'm saying? Far as I only like really
Chicago.
I only like one team in the AFC that can come out and do it, which is KC. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying?
It's blasphemous.
I mean, you got Buffalo, you got Baltimore. I mean, I don't want to talk about the rest of the AFC North at this point because again,
I mean, you
just
have
such
teams like Buffalo and you have the high-powered offense of Miami, but unfortunately, their quarterback, situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the NFC, has the most proven.
Houston's in the AFC, ain't they?
I to your point, Larry. I think the NFC,
you know what I'm saying,
yeah,
like, as far as
yeah.
like championship, red, like.
I think the NFC is more up for grabs, but also I think whoever comes out of the AFC is going to be favored in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
And the AFC is very top heavy.
Right.
They're very top heavy. The teams that are going to come out of the top are going to be very strong teams.
Only team I think is going to be favored coming out the AFC is KC because they back to back.
But not Baltimore at all.
If anybody comes, no.
Baltimore's offense doesn't
You don't like Baltimore?
get any love at all.
No, the thing is, I'm just.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just.
Well, the thing is, I personally feel that any team that I mentioned from the NFC, you know what I'm saying, could beat any AFC.
I mean, Baltimore just beat Washington today, who is a very hot team. Yes, young quarterback. But
I know that's the Commanders, bro.
But still, the Commanders are tough this year, man. It's not you can't just say, "Oh, it's the Commanders." They're actually tough, and they're putting up points. And this kid is averaging like 27 or 24 points a game. Like, I mean, obviously it's a team, but the quarterback is playing extreme. McDaniels is playing very well, and it's not like they lost to Baltimore by 20 points today. They only lost by 7.
Yeah,
so
it feels like a distant memory, but Baltimore was 0-2, man. They came out, they lost on that last play.
That's fair.
By a millimeter to the Chiefs there, whatever it was.
You're talking about to Larry's point, Baltimore doesn't seem as scary.
Well, no, this is my point. So they started slow, you could say, but they lost by a blade of grass to Kansas City. Obviously, they laid the egg against Vegas there, but then since then, beat Dallas on the road, smoked Buffalo by 25.
Yep.
Beat the Bengals in that shootout, and now,
I want you to
those are 4 with the Commanders win. Those are 4 impressive wins in a row.
I want you guys to listen. In this upcoming Super Bowl, if KC doesn't three-peat, the winner will be an NFC team.
Gosh, I really hope this isn't a moot point with KC just running away with this thing. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, they are winning ugly games.
They're playing with teams, though.
And if it clicks, like if they all of a sudden click and start playing, like we all know that they can play.
Who else can look bad for 5 straight games and be 5-0?
And still be 5-0.
Like what?
They're playing with teams.
Yeah, they're bored in the beginning, like cat and mouse games is what you're saying.
Yeah. They're playing with teams.
They're playing with yarn balls.
Their defense is not giving up more than they had the 125-point number against KC. Everything else has been.
But you know what the problem with that is they could go one way, as you said. They could go like if they click on all cylinders and now they're just blowing out teams, right? And at the right time. It could also go the other way, the adverse way, as it could go. Like they never click and they never get it going, and then they start losing games. We've seen that happen before too. Never by a Super Bowl reigning Super Bowl champion, but we have seen that happen before, where teams start off really, really hot, 5 games in a row. The Denver Broncos did that when we had McDaniel. What was that man's name? When we had that coach. He basically rattled off, I believe, 6 straight games, and then they didn't win a game for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So that could happen.
I'm not.
I hope that happens.
Yeah,
because I hate the Chiefs.
You hate everybody, bro.
I hate everybody but my teams. That's how fandom works, Larry.
Bro, you just evil, bro. It's not evil. It is, isn't it?
Is it,
Brian? Isn't he evil? He's an evil fan.
I'm not an evil fan. I'm a fan.
He's not. If he starts wishing for players to get injured, then I'll agree with you, Larry.
I don't do that. I don't do that.
I'm not gonna align with that based off hating the team on its own. Like,
no, F your team though.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Come on, like.
What kind of fan are you? What kind of fan are you, Larry? I mean, to me, it doesn't sound like you're a fan.
You can't just root for your team. You got to root against your non-teams. Yeah, your rivals.
I think it depends on the spread. with Larry.
See, but I don't gamble. I'm just a true
He's just a
fan.
fantasy guy. He's a fantasy guy.
Well,
That's
I
fair.
mean, that's about the most gambling. I mean, that's $20. That's $20, and I don't mind losing $20 a season. And I've won twice in my league. So
Yeah, you gotta keep the bad teams like setting their lineups late in the year for sure. Yeah,
real.
right.
This guy, he's got jokes. So anyway, looks like Larry's Vegas Raiders scored a touchdown. They're up on Pittsburgh 7-3. Obviously, my Broncos are down 10-0.
They was down that last week and they came back. So
That's very fair. Detroit is up on Dallas, which okay. Side note here, really
Okay.
quick. So you know how Dallas and Detroit play Thanksgiving every year, right?
Yeah.
But they never play each other on Thanksgiving. Why didn't they schedule this game on Thanksgiving? It's probably monetary. Because they get two separate games. But these two teams have been playing on Thanksgiving since the beginning of Thanksgiving football, and they have never played each other.
Well,
because the thing is the Detroit Lions at that time was the premier team in the NFC.
No, I understand why both teams are on the ticket for Thanksgiving. I just don't understand why after 35 years, give or take, they've never had to play each other on Thanksgiving. Just that day. They've always had to play each other, but not on that day.
if I had to hypothesize from Goodell's perspective here, he wants a certain number of games on Thanksgiving, right? That's prime time. They do big numbers. They want it to stretch from like the early window all the way to the late window, right? And if you have those two teams playing each other, now you have two extra teams that you have to convince to get in on that Thanksgiving window. And I'm sure if you're a player, you would rather be with your family on Thanksgiving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you get paid millions of dollars. Don't nobody care about you wanting to be with. No, I'm just kidding. Just like everybody else, they need quality of life too.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew in the back of my mind it's always monetary. And most teams that do have to play Detroit and Dallas are reluctant to do so. I think most players hate playing on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you got a short week. It's like an extra Thursday night game. Like, you got to bail on your family for that day. Like,
But you get turkey though.
You do get turkey though.
You get turkey.
Yeah. If you win. If you win.
Hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hope.
Now we're
Right.
talking.
Can't wait for Turkey Day this year myself.
Man, I love a good
man,
post-turkey nap. Like if you just won a Thursday night football game on Thanksgiving, and that turkey leg's got to hit different, and then that post-turkey leg nap,
You get ready to stretch and do your Black Friday shopping.
you got to sleep like a baby after that, I'd imagine.
You got to. All right, guys. All right. So, just so you guys that are watching know, we are doing a 2-hour special today. And we are going to transition into the NBA. NBA preseason has already begun. Boston and Denver kind of kicked it off. Denver lost both games. It was a tough going in the first game. Like there was a lot of talk about how the Denver Nuggets starting five really matched up against Boston and held them at bay, kept them at 7 points. Really, they only got the lead once by 1 point, and then the Nuggets kept it somewhere between 3 and 7 points in that first game. I think the Boston Celtics took that to heart and head because the next game that they played in Abu Dhabi, the Boston Celtics were like, no. We're the champions now. And they kind of
Look at me. I am the champion now.
Look at me. Look at me. This is why I like this guy. We always have these references. Most of the time, it's only me and him that are getting these references. Did you get that one?
I did.
Okay.
Cool. But the thing is, I know how you guys click. You know what I'm saying?
Look at me. I am the I am the champion now. But anyway, I'll stop doing that accent. Boston did show up in that second game, and they pretty much mollywopped the Nuggets all the way through. Now, granted, the Nuggets didn't play AG. They also did not play MPJ. They didn't play P-Watt also, but they played Jamal Murray. They played Jokic, and Boston, showed them what's up. That is going to be the two of the best games, and I cannot wait. Me and this guy are going to be watching those games because I cannot wait to see those games this year because we did beat them twice. Last year, the Nuggets beat them twice, once in Boston, once here. And I think that Boston does have a chip on their shoulder. And we've had this discussion several times that it should have been Boston and Denver the last 3 years, and it should be probably 1-1. And most likely, if I have my way, it'll be Boston and Denver this season.
Well, it should have been it last year. I was hoping you guys would go all the way because that's the only team I thought last year that could beat Boston was remember we was talking about that?
We did.
And I wanted us like, please go. And I was like, man, y'all.
Well, man, they ran out of steam. They ran out of steam. Coach, that's the first time this coach, it's the first time that he's ever had to coach a championship winning team.
That's true.
It's the first time that this team has ever won a championship. Anybody on the team, with the exception of the dude that just left, none of them had rings.
The dude that just left.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
KCP?
Why would you talk about KCP like
left,
that?
because he just left.
Okay.
No, that's your.
He's the guy that just left now. I'm just kidding.
I
was drawing a blank on his name. That's why I said it.
Okay, gotcha. I was like, wow, you really...
And y'all had to just point it out as if it was spite.
You
it
got
wasn't
that much spite in your heart for KCP,
No, I love
man.
KCP.
Come on. Yeah.
I love KCP, and he was a vital part of winning a championship here. I'll never take that. So was Bruce Brown.
Yeah.
I'll never take that away from them. If they want to go get their bag, go get your bag. I'm not mad at you.
Well, it's a really interesting fit with him in Orlando, too. I am excited to see what that team looks like this year.
And they significantly got better with him on the team because now they have a leader. They have somebody that can stop the best three players of the other team one-on-one, not just in good team defense, because KCP does play great team defense, but he'll shut down your wing, your 1 through 3. He'll shut them down.
He'll hit those open threes. And he's
a 3-and-D guy.
He's got to show these young cats what it feels like to be, to carry yourself as a winner, too. I mean, they had a good series with Cleveland in the first round last year. It went 7. That's valuable experience for that Magic team, for sure. But we're talking about a franchise that hasn't been relevant since Dwight Howard, and prime Dwight Howard, not Lakers Dwight Howard,
Oh, that was a dig.
Nah.
That was a dig.
I'm just setting the time range.
I don't think that was a dig at the Lakers. That was a dig at Dwight Howard, but that was a dig.
Well, I mean, it's okay to be past your prime. That's all right.
But the thing is, unfortunately, I really want to get back to talk about the Celtics so we can get them out the way.
Okay. Excuse us.
Okay.
I got excited for a half second there. I was like, you want to talk about the Celtics? Sweet. And now
y'all sound like me for a moment, rambling off topic. But anyway.
All right. So we are going to talk basketball now. We are going to get into our picks. Let me open my note so that we get it hard-coded into the ether. Let's see. I should have had this already open. See, this is why I'm not professional.
See, and you be digging at Larry about his professionalism.
Well, I got a new computer.
I dig on myself about my professionalism.
I have a new computer, and I'm still working out the kinks.
Ooh. I got a new computer.
There's got to be a good sound effect for that, right?
Well, we're going to cut that.
Oh, okay.
We're going to have to cut that because that was a good sound bite. We'll have to post-production cut that so he can put that in the ooh. All right, Ryan, if I can spell correctly.
Ryan Lagan, right?
Lagan. Get your leg in here.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, that's good.
Just call him Leprechaun. Just call him Leprechaun.
I'm more Italian than I am Irish, Larry, but I appreciate the sentiment.
I don't know if that's prejudice or not, Larry. You might want to retract that one. I'm not sure if that's offensive.
No, because he's a Leprechaun fan.
Oh, it's a Celtics fan. I thought it's because I was Irish. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, that's why I said I'm not sure if that's.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not sure if that was a dig at.
No.
Anyway, we're just going to gloss past that.
We're
just going to move on.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
And we're going to.
So we can get the Celtics out of the way so Larry doesn't have to hear about them any longer than he absolutely needs to, right?
It's hurt because I mentioned them twice already.
In the spirit of that, we're going to start with our picks. in the Atlantic Division of the NBA, the Eastern Atlantic Division. But we're not going to start with Boston just to take a dig at Larry. We're going to start with Brooklyn. We're going to start with the bottom of their division.
Brooklyn, stand up.
All right. No, I'm just kidding. So how we're going to do this, ladies and gentlemen, is we are going to say who is going to be the pick of, like, who's going to be, let's see, how do I phrase this? Who is going to come out of their division? But not only that, we're going to say who is going to be number 1 through 8. Nah, let's do 10. Or is it 12? What's the play-in? It's 12 teams, right? Top 12 teams?
Yes. Yeah, 7, 8 plays 9, 10. Well, no, is it 10? Hold on.
I believe it's 12 teams. God damn it.
No, I think 7 plays 8, 9 plays 10.
Yes, 10.
The winner of 7, 8 gets the 7 seed,
Yep.
and then
So
the
it's
winner of
10.
9, 10 gets to play
10.
the loser.
That's what
for
I
the-
thought.
yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
10 teams.
I don't know why that was drawing a blank for all
So
of us.
we'll pick who's going to be 1 through 10 at the end of the season and who's going to come out of their division. So let me put division here and rank. If I can spell today. What is my computer doing?
So you got to get a new computer like Larry.
Mine is a new computer like
Exactly.
Larry's. Then division. Well, Larry wouldn't have to get new things if Larry wouldn't break all of his stuff all the time.
Okay, mommy. All right, mother.
It's my dad voice.
Pops.
If Larry
right,
could
Pop.
respect what he owns.
No, that's when to grow up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to give you our picks without further ado.
All right.
All right. So coming out of the Atlanta, we're going to give our guest the first. Obviously, he's going to choose his
Atlanta Hawks?
the Atlanta Hawks.
No.
But they're not in your division, are they?
No. I don't even remember.
No. It's Brooklyn, Philly, Toronto, New York, and Boston.
To be honest, I really struggle with the divisions in NBA because they're kind of meaninless.
They are meaningless.
You know.
I'm glad you said that. I said that to somebody the other day, and they're like,
Can
"No,
we-
it means everything."
can we-
No, it doesn't.
Can I make one request as a guest? Can we just focus on like the conference? Like,
let's do that.
Do we need to put people through who's winning the division? Because obviously, you
know
know,
what?
Boston over Philly and New York and all that, whatever. But like,
I second that.
Okay.
What do you think, Larry?
Soon as the Clippers won their first Pacific Division, it became meaningless.
Well, the reason why I say that is because if you think about it, the Nuggets division last year were number 1, number 2, and number 3 came from that division
Right.
in the West.
Right.
So, like, the divisions really don't mean
what does
anything.
it matter?
No,
What
that
does
is
it matter?
That
you
is
know?
correct, though. I've never really took stock in divisions, just
Yeah.
conference.
Why do they even have? You know what? That's a discussion for. We'll discuss that. But thank you for bringing that
Yeah.
up because I had that. I'm in a lot of like talking, Facebook boards and all of these things, and we
Right.
have conversations. And I brought that up the other day, and I had a whole bunch of people tell me that I was crazy to think.
Who's got a good reason for a division?
They didn't have any good reason.
Well, the thing is, back in the day, they did for us like traveling and stuff, how to switch teams in a division for a
Sure.
flight. But nowadays, since traveling is not an issue.
Well, I could see if the division mattered if in the rankings of the conference, but it doesn't
It
at all.
doesn't.
It doesn't. Anyways, okay, we're gonna get sidetracked because we're.
Yeah.
I digress.
Yes, I digress. As I famously say at work, I digress.
Yeah, stay focused.
All right, Atlantic Division.
Eastern Conference.
Eastern Conference, Atlantic Division. Boston, New York, Toronto, Philly, Brooklyn. Who you got?
You know who I got? It's Boston.
New York?
For the viewers at home. Yeah, it's Boston for sure. I mean, and here, let me.
At least I was gonna say at least qualify
I'll
it.
I'll unpack it for
Yeah,
sure.
at least
so
qualify it.
obviously, we know Brooklyn's rebuilding, and they're on whatever trajectory they're on with that rebuild. They have made good attempts in recent years to put these cohesive teams together. The problem is they didn't put enough stock in these players' personalities and how it would impact it's a bigger deal in basketball than I think in pretty much any other sport, right? Like, you can have a divisive personality and a talented player in an NFL locker room. It's big enough to not drown it out, but I guess water it down a little bit as far as how it impacts. basketball is 2-star reliant. You have a couple players that really put the franchise on their shoulders. Of course, they need good support around them. But if you're banking your entire organization on, a James Harden or I hate to say it because I love Kyrie, but I have to throw his name in there, and a Kevin Durant, type of guys. Like, obviously, we saw how that played out for them. I think obviously the continuity in Boston, and not just the continuity, but normally when you come off of a championship, you have, this element of, I don't think lethargy is the right word. I think complacency, maybe, like we won, regular season, we just got to kind of coast through it and get to that. But, I think there's been a lot of talk, and rightfully so, about, well, what did Boston prove in those playoffs last year, right? They proved that
they can get over the hump, man. They had been right there for so long.
Understandable. I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Fair enough.
I love the Celtics. I've believed in them for, I've watched them lose in the Eastern Conference Finals. It seems
he's got me defending the Celtics
each of the last 8 years. No, well,
what are you talking about?
I'm trying to qualify my opinion here.
I got you.
So, the whole argument is every team that we played in the Eastern Conference side of the playoffs was decimated by injuries, and the Dallas Mavericks were overmatched.
The East has gotten better, though, ladies and gentlemen.
It has.
The East has gotten better.
It has, and there's going to be more to prove this year.
Yeah.
To show
Cat
that,
going to New York, PG going to Philly, et cetera, et cetera.
A healthy New York, a healthy, Philadelphia, a healthy even Indiana, Cleveland,
Orlando's gotten better. We just discussed how KCP's playing. They've all gotten better.
Right. It's not a situation where, Boston was able to kind of sit back and rest on their laurels in the offseason. Like, yep, we're better than everyone. We don't have to do anything. Like, these dudes been in the gym. I promise you. Like, Jason Tatum not getting minutes in the Olympics. Like, Jaylen Brown not even getting put on the Olympic team.
They've got a chip.
Man,
and Derek,
you're about to steal my. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry.
Steal my thunder.
And I don't think Derek White and Drew Holiday are the type of players that needed a chip. Like, those dudes show up ready to play every day. Kristaps has a chip too because he played really well when he was in there, but I know he wants to feel like he can be healthy for a whole season and be that level of contributor on this team. But it's the NBA. You go as far as your best players go. Tatum and Brown are gonna be better this year than they were last year.
With all of that said, obviously you've got Boston at number 1 in the East.
Yep.
Who's number 2?
New York. So I like the Paul George signing for Philly. My issue is the health and the depth. There's not. And this is everybody's issue with them. Like, Embiid is going to miss 20-plus games. It happens every season. Paul George is older, and Tyrese Maxey is a good player, but he's not going to put that team on his back while Embiid is out. I don't think he can. I think he can be a great third best player on a championship team. I don't see him as a second best player on a championship team. And I just don't think they're going to be healthy long enough to be a 2 seed over.
Obviously,
over
why
this.
they got PG, right?
Right.
That's why they brought PG in.
Are they going to be dangerous in the playoffs? Of course they are if they're healthy. But I don't New York got. Everybody knows New York got better. Say what you want about the way that they're all going to fit. With one another.
They got a whole summer to figure that out. Not a whole summer, but a whole preseason to figure that out.
I'm still trying to figure out if the Randall DiVincenzo first round pick for Cat was a good move or not. I get it. You had questions.
They're more versatile.
Well, you had questions about center depth with obviously Hartenstein leaving, and then what's his face Mitchell Robinson being injured. He's going to be out for months to start the year, so you needed to shore up the center depth. I get that.
And that was the only one person that because the thing is, everybody in the league knew that the Timberwolves was going to move on from Cat.
I said it here on this show for a minute. I was like, they're going to have cap issues.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, he said it first.
I really did. I said it months ago. It was actually last season. I said they're going to have to move on from Cat. They already have 2 guys sitting behind him. Yeah. There's no reason to inflate your cap with this guy. you're going to get the same production out of two guys at cheaper than out of the one guy. So,
well, and
he can't stay healthy.
Well, Gobert, Cat, and Naz Reid are very different players, but I don't think injecting Naz Reid into a greater role.
Well, McDaniels too is the two I was talking about. Is Naz Reid and McDaniels. You have the strength and the size of Naz Reid. You have that side of Cat, and then you have the outside shooting of McDaniels. So you have the two players that can do his one role at a cheaper price. Now, I would probably argue that you would want to have one guy doing both roles, but he also can't stay healthy on top of all of that. And it's just, bottom line is he's worth more than the two guys, and they were going to have to, with the way the salary cap is set up. We were talking about this last season with the aprons. You have to stay out of that second apron, man. If you get into that second apron, you are stuck with those contracts. So if you have 3 or 4 max contract players, you are stuck with those contracts. You can't get out of them.
And you
can't
lose
trade them.
And you lose
picks. There's all kinds of things that happen to you when you get into that second apron. And I think that the Minnesota Timberwolves front office finally started to realize that and was like, before the league year starts, we have to clear these salaries before we, start the season, because as soon as we step into that second apron, we're stuck with Cat. We're stuck with AE, and then you won't even be able to sign AE because you won't have the money to.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure that that's their top priority, is making sure they sign AE, making sure that they keep Naz Reid happy, the 6th man of the year, right? Yeah. And there's no way that you're going to be able to sign Naz Reid and McDaniels and keep Cat all in the same bundle. So I kind of figured that they were going to have to do that trade a long time ago. I figured they'd have done it sooner.
Cat knew he was getting traded.
He had to know. Even though he said he was blindsided, the whole team said they were blindsided. It's like, come on, man. You had to know. You had to know that eventually. And then they re-signed the Awful Tower to a new contract. Yeah. So you knew the writing was on the wall then. Well, that's what I call him. That's what I call him. He's the Awful Tower, because he's not a basketball player. He's just a 7-foot guy that stands in front of the rim. And anyway, don't get me on that tangent. But let's get back to, because I'm going to go on a tangent here.
I just want to make a real quick point with this.
Fire away.
Well, 2 things. So one, I think Minnesota, normally when you make the salary dump type trades, you maybe get a little bit worse in the short term for the long term gain, right? I don't think that's what I see out of this trade. I think if Randall stays healthy, which is an if for everyone in the league, I get it.
They're going to end up releasing Randall.
But Randall is a better player when he's healthy than Cat is. The numbers support that. He's a different role. Yes, he's a shorter player, but I also don't.
They don't need him to carry the team either.
Right, exactly, and I don't think that you can sleep on the DiVincenzo aspect of this trade.
That's the good part. But he's already signed. He's under contract, so they don't have to worry about.
And gives you the depth that you are desperately lacking with a lockdown wing, smaller wing, but wing defender that can shoot threes.
Yep.
Like you saw in that series with Dallas, Anthony Edwards, you're not going to get the best offensive version of him if he's having to take on the toughest defensive assignment. And the same goes even more so for Jaden McDaniels. If you're putting him on a star player defensively, this is a guy that can give you 20 points any given night in the regular season.
Right.
He was non-existent offensively in that Dallas series, if I remember correctly. And so giving the depth of being able to rotate DiVincenzo and McDaniels and Anthony Edwards on, tough wing scorers like that, I think that benefits all 3 of those players for sure.
Good call.
No, I was going to give my point about it, but I think we just going a little.
We got derailed a little bit.
I was trying to steer us back. I really was.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. So, all right. So Boston 1, Knicks 2.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm struggling with this one because I don't love Milwaukee. I didn't
even think about them.
I don't love Philly. As far as the regular season goes, I think both of those teams are dangerous playoff teams, but I almost feel like, Cleveland and Orlando might be ready to take a little step forward from a regular season perspective.
Okay.
So I'm going to go out. We do this show because it's
hot
fun,
take alert.
right?
Hot take
so
alert.
I'm going to go a little hot take here. I'm going to have, I think I'm going to have Cleveland at 3 and Orlando at 4.
Okay.
I think I am. I'm gonna put Philly at 5 and Milwaukee at 6.
Wait,
Actually,
slow down.
Sorry.
You said Cleveland, and I just spelled that wrong, but that's okay. Cleveland and then Orlando.
Actually, let me flip 5 and 6. I think I'm gonna have Milwaukee at 5 and Philly at 6. But
1,
yes,
2,
Cleveland
3,
3,
4.
Orlando 4.
Milwaukee, and then Philly.
Yes.
So Boston, Knicks, Cleveland, Orlando, Milwaukee, Philly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so we're going to 10.
Yep. Am I too low on Indiana? I feel like I might be too low on Indiana here. I think I have Miami at 8 again, for what it's worth. And now I'm debating like moving Indiana up the list a little bit. You know what? Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about them, honestly. I think I might have Indiana at the 5. I think I might have Milwaukee 6 and Philly 7. And let's do Orlando 3 and Cleveland 4.
Hold on, you said who at 5?
Indiana.
And then after Miami?
Doesn't matter in the East.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, you've got the 2 play-in teams. Who are your 2 play-in teams?
You know, I guess we should probably put Chicago there.
Okay.
And then Atlanta, because obviously, you know, we know who Detroit is. We know
who they're not too.
Yeah, exactly. We know who Washington is for sure. And we know Toronto. And
that only leaves those.
Toronto and Brooklyn are still rebuilding as well. So
I mean, Brooklyn had a good showing last year, but it was kind of like a flash in the pan. So I agree. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So that's Mr. Ryan's.
Let me do Orlando 3, Cavs 4. I'm high on Orlando. I think they can take a step forward.
Orlando in the 3rd spot?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I know. That's my hot take.
All right.
I have to have a hot take.
And that's
there.
our final.
Yes.
All
That's
right.
where we're at.
All right. So now we're moving on to Mr. Larry.
I hate this.
East.
I hate this. Yeah, Boston number 1.
Hey, thank you, Larry.
No, whatever.
He said whatever.
Whatever. Boston, I don't see nobody.
Whatever.
Only team we're gonna be Boston is Boston. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, that's
Like,
actually pretty
No,
fair.
That's exactly right. It really is.
you know, unfortunately, it's just
I mean, New York, but yeah.
No,
yeah.
man. I mean, Boston. I mean, nobody want injuries, but but anything can happen.
He's low on Philly, but I think Philly has a good chance at beating
No,
Boston.
I think Philly could easily go to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm just saying they're going to limp in. Their record in the regular season isn't going to be as good as everybody thinks because they're not deep and they're going to be hurt. Like that's
fair. I mean, they
almost
did have to
guaranteed.
trade away a lot.
They
did.
They may get to the playoffs as like a 6th seed and then win a couple playoff series if they're all healthy.
We'll see if addition by subtraction is the way to go because that's what they did.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Larry?
we know them to be a 500 team when Embiid is not healthy.
Facts.
But anyway, go
Mad
ahead.
facts.
Sorry.
No, you're all good.
Well, yeah, and I got the Bucks at the number 2.
Okay.
Yeah, the Bucks at number 2. Yeah,
You think the Bucks pull it together?
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is,
Because we had this discussion last year. You were high on them last year.
But the thing is, this year they was talking. Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard. They on the same page now.
We'll see.
I still have confidence in Brooke and Middleton. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he had surgery, but they said he's coming along pretty well, Chris Middleton. You know what I'm saying? In additions, they picked up my boy from the Lakers, skipping my mind, Taurean Prince. He's on that squad now, and they have Gary Trent Jr. Now they have him for shooting. Yeah. So they had
and defense. He's a 3-and-D guy.
Yeah. So they had decent pickups. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm picking the Bucks at the 2nd spot.
Okay.
Yeah, I got New York in the 3rd spot.
The Knicks.
New York. Yeah, with the
Knickerbockers.
Yeah, the Knicks. Yeah, the Knicks gonna win at least 50 to 52.
Okay, so
games.
you both have the Knicks now in the top 3.
What is a Knickerbocker specifically?
You know, I don't know, but that's what they call themselves.
Is? The Knickerbockers are shorts.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I've heard that actually. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for
the New York gym shorts.
Above the calf.
Anything above the calf?
Below the knee, above the calf.
Okay.
Got it.
The New York long gym shorts.
Puffy pants.
Because I know they're knickers. What's those knickers?
Oh, yeah. Right.
Shorts.
Yep, knickers. Yep.
Fourth would be Philly. I like what they did when they got Paul George, you know, and I think, unlike Ryan here, I think Maxey, he can, you know, he
carry
can,
a team.
Yeah, he can.
Okay.
He
okay.
can.
Well, I mean, we're going to see, fellas, like eventually that's why they play the games, right? Mm-hmm. So eventually this will bear out. All right, so Boston, Bucks, Knicks, 76ers.
Yep, and
that's your top four.
Yep, the fifth spot is those pesky Cavs, the Cavaliers.
The pesky
Cavs, yes. Yeah,
those Cavalier guys from Cleveland.
Well,
they are tough every year, man, and they do have spiders still, so they, you know.
And they got young guys that are, you would hope, going to get better if you're a Cleveland fan, you know.
Well, the thing is, this year in Cleveland is going to be a trial year because remember when they re-signed the Spidey, Darius Garland, you know, he's like, well, I kind of want to get traded in because they had a little friction. So the thing is, I want to see.
Well, because Spider's better than him.
Well, no, to your point, Larry, it's a weird fit with them, and they're kind of structured opposite of teams like Boston and New York, where they've got these two ball dominant guards, which was the same, better version of the same situation when they had Colin Sexton and Darius Garland. Now it's Garland and Donovan Mitchell.
It's the same,
and they got a couple. You know, they have multiple centers that can play at a starter, if not all-star level. You know,
Allen,
right, and Mobley,
Evan Mobley,
right,
exactly.
Right. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're a candidate for a big trade around the deadline. If they try to basically break up that, like, you know, give up Garland or, you know, one of those centers.
Oh, you know it's going to be Garland.
For more wing. Well, yeah, they're not going to give up Mitchell.
Yeah, Mitchell's not going anywhere.
You know, well, unless the Cavs are really bad. If they turn into a full rebuild because they suck, which I don't anticipate, obviously, it's not on my list. But
they re-signed Evan Mobley and you know, Spidey. I mean, they're not going in.
But if Mobley takes a step forward, I think Jared Allen becomes dispensable as well. And if you package Jared Allen and Darius Garland, like, you know, you're talking about at minimum you could get an all-star caliber like wing, if not, you know, a high, you know, couple good pieces out of that.
Well, they kept their 1 through 10. They added a new coach.
I would take that if we traded MPJ for it. I'm just kidding. Hot take.
And I
know
think
my friend Mark's gonna be mad at me. I always bring up the trade MPJ and he gets mad.
I was gonna say you're not gonna get that for MPJ. You'd have to throw picks in there.
You'd have to. It'd have to be a sweetened pot more than that. Yeah,
right,
for sure.
Right.
Well, I'm kind of high on Cleveland because I like the Atkins, the coach, the Atkins coach.
Yeah, Cleveland's good year in, year out. They're like right on that cusp.
Right.
Young team, but they're right on the cusp. They are. Yeah. They are. All right. So Boston, Bucks, Knicks, Philadelphia, Cavs. That's your top 5.
And Indy, the fast-paced Indiana Pacers.
Okay.
Nice.
They basically another team. They haven't made that much changes. Their offense is, you know, everybody's coming back. They re-signed Siakam, you know, so you know, yeah, they just basically a West Coast, East Coast team.
They were a solid team.
They fast. Their defense, it's a little bit left to be, you know, but yeah, I got Indy.
They play good enough defense though.
Not in Eastern Conference.
They gotta
they
gotta get better to get out of
it. They got better. They got.
Okay, that's
up.
fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And in this one, everything started getting like little.
I know, that's what I'm saying. The East, it's like, who cares after the
first 6?
Yeah,
it's like, who cares 7 through 10?
Right. So I'm thinking maybe Miami at the 7th spot.
Okay.
You know, they still got.
They
buckets.
hang around that area most of the time anyway.
They hang around. And I'll put their little Floridian neighbors in there, Orlando at the 8th spot.
You're low in Orlando, man, I'm telling you.
The Floridian.
All right.
Okay, and far as playing, now this is dicey right here. That's good enough. Let me see. That's when you have to.
Somebody didn't do their research before the show.
Well, no, I was thinking we're just gonna talk individual teams. You
Yeah,
know,
we kind of are to a certain extent.
we talking playoffs.
Playoffs?
We talking playoffs.
Playoffs. Don't talk about the playoffs.
I wasn't expecting the playoffs this soon. The season ain't started yet.
You're talking regular season.
Exactly.
Practice.
Oh, you know what we are going to pick is who's going to win the cup this year too. Let's
Oh,
Let's
okay.
make sure we pick that too.
I hate that. I don't know why they. No.
I'm not a big fan of it either, but it's a part of the game now, Larry.
I'm sorry. I don't hate that.
I mean, your team did win it last year.
I do hate that. That's allowed. Okay. So I am
Two more teams.
I'm going Raptors.
Okay.
I'm going
see it.
Raptors to sneak in. Sneaky links.
Okay. Something wrong with you.
And last but not least, I just throw in the Bulls.
Just throw them in there.
I just throw in the Bulls. They ain't gonna get out of the play-in, but
Yeah, the East does not look good once you get past
they're
that
gonna
first
have
group.
to. I mean, DeMar DeRozan did good by leaving, going to Sacramento, but they're gonna break. This year, yes, Zach LaVine. They break everybody. They even gonna trade Lonzo Ball once he come back. They'll trade everybody. Watch.
Is Lonzo Ball gonna play? Well, he's supposed to come back a couple months in or something, right?
Yeah.
That dude hasn't played in a while.
Oh, like
man.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
And the injury he's coming back from, it's not impossible. It's not impossible.
There's not a lot of precedent for it, is my understanding, right? Isn't there, what's his name on the Avs that has the same injury, and they've been talking about
Landeskog?
it? Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Did he come back from it?
He's supposed to come back this year,
so I'm just
but he
saying,
still hasn't.
it's-
And he's been out for 2 solid years.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's interesting to hear them talk about it because if you ask like Avs, coaches or leadership, they will reference Lonzo Ball's recovery when they talk about Landeskog's timeline, which
Yep.
you don't really hear that
You
cross
can't rush
sports in any other context. But because it's such a specific, unique injury that these two have had, like
and the style of the play that they both
Right.
play, it's not impossible,
Right.
but it's improbable.
Right.
Okay, so going with my picks, obviously we're going to go with the trifecta of Boston is most likely going to win the East. But
Glad you two are both being sensible today. That's very.
well,
it's
I
very
mean,
nice
I picked
of
them
you.
to come out of the East the past 2 years.
Okay,
So,
fair.
and they disappointed me one out of those years.
Were they grabbed the 2 seed a couple years ago, right? That's what you're
Yeah,
talking
but
about.
well, it's not even that they came out of the 2 seed. It's that I picked them to win it all.
Oh,
is what
yeah.
I'm saying
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the past
that
2
Miami
years,
series was nuts, but it was very disappointing, obviously.
or at least get to the finals. I didn't think they would beat the Nuggets, but I did think that they would get to the finals
Right.
in the East.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, so Boston, and then I'm actually gonna go with Philly
Okay,
because I think Philly is better than most people think,
better than New York, huh?
and then I'm going with New York.
Okay.
Okay.
If my hands will work with me here. Okay, and then, oops. Then I am going to go with
That Atlantic division, man.
Indiana,
Yep. I don't mind that.
and then I'm going to go with Cleveland.
Why is that?
Cleveland, this is for
Basically, it's the same reasons that me and Ryan put it.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Milwaukee. And then I'm higher on Miami than you two are. Actually, no, we're right about the same place at Miami, all of us, now that I think about it.
I mean, again, this is another team that it's a different conversation when you talk about them in the playoffs versus the regular season. And
Yeah.
when's the last time they've,
Done anything.
put up
Yeah.
a good regular season record? You know,
I mean,
No, that's-
if they get there, they dangerous.
Yeah.
100%. I wouldn't disagree.
Just get
Trust
in
me,
there.
I know all too well they're dangerous when they get there. But it also
you know
seems
what?
like you don't think they'd move off Jimmy Butler this year, do you?
Oof.
It seems like that's getting more and more frayed, that relationship.
I'm actually going to switch it up. I'm going to go Milwaukee, Orlando, then Miami.
There you go. Give Orlando some love.
Yeah, I almost forgot about them.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Almost forgot
8.
about who.
So now I just got to pick Atlanta. And I'm going to go out on a limb and get Brooklyn. I'm going to say they surprised some folk.
Nah, man.
Okay.
Just to be different.
Do you care to elaborate on where that's coming from?
Atlanta and Brooklyn.
Just because, well, Atlanta is pretty much. I know they lost Javante, but they're still pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm. That could actually be better for them to not have that backcourt full of him and Trae Young, right?
It allows Trae Young to actually be the man,
right?
And I just for Brooklyn, you always got to be careful with teams that are up and coming and doing that rebuild. And they've actually been rebuilding for the past 2 years,
right? And
last year they were still pretty good. So I'm throwing them out there because I know if Charlotte, I don't think Chicago is going to actually make the play-in. I think they're in complete rebuild and they're in the first stages as opposed to Brooklyn being in their second, maybe third stage.
Does Chicago know that? Because
that's what I'm saying.
They tend to operate like they're right on knocking on the doorstep most of the time, even though everybody knows they're not.
Yeah, but I mean, most teams do. I mean, even he thinks his team is going to win more games than
exactly.
Watch where he places the Lakers.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see that. That's going to be fun.
Watch where he places the Lakers.
I know we'll get into it later. I'm not saying they won't be better, but. All right. Here we go. I will say, so Brooklyn didn't pick in the first round in this draft. And obviously Atlanta kind of got that stroke of luck where they got to pick number 1 overall. I don't know much of that about this Zachary Rieseker. I don't even know how to say his name. The guy that they picked from France there.
Rashache.
But, jeez, dude, imagine being 6'9" and only weighing 195. Yeah, he's got to put some bulk on
He's
still.
better put some meat on his bones, boy.
Yeah, but I mean that could be worth worth considering if he ends up popping for Atlanta as far as them being at least in that play-in mix. I don't think they're gonna make a whole lot of noise beyond that. But
all right, that brings us to the West, and we will start with our guest again.
All right.
What are we doing in the West?
I mean, number 1, You
picked Minnesota. I'm going to slap the crap out of you.
I'm thinking about it. I'm right there. I honestly, I think...
There will be no violence on this show, I promise.
Yeah, for sure. Just an emotional slap.
Right.
But, no, I think OKC, is the popular pick there for a reason.
Are you going with OKC?
I am. Yeah, obviously Hartenstein's going to be a good fit. But man, I'm actually, you know what? I'm second guessing myself a lot if y'all haven't noticed.
That's
but
okay.
I am actually going to go Minnesota number 1. I'm going to do another hot take on this one. I just really like the trade for DiVincenzo and Randall. I think Randall is going to be a bigger, part of that team's success than a lot of people are thinking right now. I'd like that guard that they just drafted. I think he could contribute pretty much right away, especially under Mike Conley's tutelage there. I think their Anthony Edwards is not going to get worse. You know what I mean? So I got Minnesota 1. I got OKC 2. I think that one could go either way with those two, though. I do have Denver 3 for sure. I think, again, same thing. Like they're going to realize from this past season that chasing that 1 seed is not worth what that does to.
No, as long as you get home court advantage in the first round.
Right, get out of the first round and then rely on your playoff experience after that.
Have home court all through the.
Yeah, right.
That's why
who doesn't want to have home court advantage if you can get it?
Right.
But chasing it I agree with him 100%.
Yeah,
right.
They literally chased first place last year, and it caused them to run out of gas in the playoffs. So I completely agree with that assessment.
And based off of that, I think you're right. Like getting it in the first round is one thing. I'm actually going to make another switch. I'm going to do. Man, I like Dallas and Memphis in these next couple spots with Denver. Yeah, Memphis, man. Dude, Memphis.
Have you seen what's his name play with Edey right now?
No. Have they looked good in the preseason?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not going in my top 4. But go ahead, that's your
Man,
pick.
You go ahead. That's your pick.
They got a lot of good people coming back. That
They do.
you can't sleep on. Desmond Bain, obviously.
I wouldn't
Jaren
put them above
Jackson.
Denver, but yeah.
These are my picks here. All right,
These are your
let's go
picks.
easy. Let's go easy.
They are your picks.
I think I'm gonna have.
We're gonna remind you of that.
I know
later
you will.
in this.
as you should. As you should. I think I'm gonna go Dallas at 3, Denver 4, Memphis 5. I like Houston at 6.
Denver 4. Did you say Houston?
Yes, sir.
They surprised people
Yeah,
last year.
Houston.
Yeah, last year.
I think Houston's going to keep getting better as well.
Okay.
And I mean, again, that team, as always, it's like how healthy is Zion going to be? You know what I mean? If Zion plays 70 games, that.
Wait, did he get traded to Houston that I don't know about?
No, he's talking about the Pelicans.
Oh, Pelicans is next.
Yeah.
talking about
Sorry.
Got it.
Yeah.
I missed that part.
Did you get Memphis in there for me at 5?
I did not.
Okay, yeah.
So it's Denver, Memphis, Houston, New Orleans.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Denver, Memphis,
And
Houston, Nowlands.
I'm torn here for 8. I like a few teams. I think, I think I'm going to have San Antonio in my play-in for the West. I don't think I'm going to have them at 8, though. I don't think Phoenix is all the way falling off quite yet, or the Clippers. And
right now you have them in the 8th position or the 7th position, right? Or 8th. This is 8.
This would be number 8 spot here.
So if you think Phoenix has fallen out of the top 5, weren't they top 5 last year?
Again, I think they were 5 exactly, if I remember right. But again, this comes back to, this is not a deep team. This is a top heavy and veteran foundational
top
team.
scoring team, but not defense at all.
And I don't think we know, what the story is fully on them yet, just because we haven't had enough games of Durant and Beal and Booker all on the floor at the same time.
That's fair. Fair.
But again, I'm not.
Are you putting Phoenix there? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't think I can, because I'm just not sold on their health, and I know the West is deep,
I
man.
ain't even gonna make it.
You're gonna have them at the 10th spot.
Yeah, and Sacramento is still dangerous.
Sacramento got really good. I was watching them play the other night against Golden State.
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
God.
I'm going. I think I'm going Sacramento 8. Man, and the Clippers aren't going to be horrible either. As much as they're aging as well, and they might tear it down at any given point in time.
any point.
Point.
They're a cheeseburger away from making the trade. Thank you, James Harden.
Right. Exactly. I do really like the Dalton Connect fit in LA as well, and obviously they're dangerous. So I think.
And no Golden State?
Ooh, man.
They're getting ready to
implode.
dude, I know Steph wants to stay there, but if they were smart, they would.
They just got Buddy Hield though, didn't they?
Yeah, but
Buddy Hield, yeah.
But Ryan is right though. I mean, all these teams got the Lakers, the Suns, the Warriors. They all have question marks that have put them probably out of the play-in.
I think.
And I'm saying as a Laker fan.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well heard.
I got San Antonio at 9, and I got LA at 10. The Lakers, not Clippers. I think Phoenix and the Clippers.
I like how you so quickly was like, no, the Lakers, not the Clippers.
Don't kill me over there, Larry. Don't kill me.
You seen their new logo?
I think the Clippers and Phoenix will hang around 500. It depends on how injured they are, but I think you get to the trade deadline and they're under 500. You might see some big trades out west, because you can't keep putting stock in that roster. It just keeps getting older for both of those teams.
It's going to be at least a big 3 major trades this year.
Right.
All right, so Ryan's picks in the East and the West. In the East, top 10, Boston, Knicks, Orlando, Cavs, Indiana, Bucks, Philly, Miami, Chicago, ATL. In the West, Minnesota, OKC, Dallas, Denver, Memphis, Houston, New Orleans, Sacramento, San Antonio, and the Los Angeles Lakers.
Let me make one more last minute change, and this is the last one, I promise. Give me Atlanta over Chicago in the East play-in. I'll take Atlanta at 9, Chicago at 10. But I feel good about it.
Atlanta is interesting. Atlanta's going to remind me of a early 2000 Philly with Allen Iverson and all them guys with Dikembe and them. Rest in peace. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, big shout out to Dikembe. Yeah, man. Yeah. I meant to mention that last week.
Yeah. That's a loss.
It is, man. Y'all. Some of y'all young bucks might remember him just from the commercial of "Don't come into my house," or "Not today."
No.
But man, he was doing those antics in the '90s, swatting basketballs all over the place. The iconic win over the Supersonics. Man, I remember that time when that was me as a young fan at that time. I was, probably middle school going into high school. And that dude and that team, that was the best team we had up to that point. So yeah, big shout out to Dikembe Mutombo and rest in peace, my guy.
That's one of the
Nuggets. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
No, I just want to know it's the Nuggets because you're a Nuggets fan. Is the Nuggets gonna wear a patch?
I hope they do.
That'd be cool.
To be honest with you, I hope they do.
I mean, me personally, just knowing him, I just know him I know he played for many teams. I'll just mention the Philadelphia, that team that went to the finals in 2001.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in my eyes, he always like a nugget. Number 55, Mile High. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think so. I think they're gonna do something because I know Atlanta is.
I just want to make sure I have this right because my computer just did some squirrely crap.
But yeah, Atlanta is
hold on just a second. So Minnesota, Oklahoma City, Dallas, Denver, Memphis, Houston, New Orleans, Sacramento, San Antonio, LA Lakers.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because, like I said, I was trying to set up his bracket, and all of a sudden it switched stuff up here. I almost cussed. It switched a whole bunch of stuff up here, and Anyway, all right, moving on. We're moving on to Larry's top 10 in the West picks.
Well, gentlemen, it's gonna hurt me, but I'm gonna be very, upfront, serious. Number 1,
Lakers.
No. Number 1, I'm going with Minnesota.
Wow.
Even though they really didn't, they're going to be very good on defense. But far as like we was talking about last year about the offense, they only had Anthony Edwards. They really didn't address that. Like who's going to be, a second star. But the thing is, their defense is going to be so
especially
good.
Since they just traded Cataway. So
exactly. So I still have a number 1 as far as defensive wise.
Okay.
Number 2? I got the Nuggets. I got the Nuggets in the second spot because they got Russell Westbrook.
And he was down on us getting Russell Westbrook when that trade happened. This guy right here was like, "Y'all are gonna suck now." He's gonna suck it up, but he actually is good. He's good for this team.
I was actually hating.
I think
I was at first too. I have to admit, I was at first.
Well, here's the thing.
I warmed up to it.
The value of the Russell Westbrook trade is not about how Russell plays. It's about how. Why is his name escaping me? Y'all's point guard.
Jokic?
No.
Oh, Murray.
Yes, thank you. It's about how well he drives Murray to be the best version of himself. Because if you get the version of Murray, obviously anywhere near what you had in the Olympics, this Denver team could fall farther than I even have them.
Yeah.
But if you get the best version, a healthy, dedicated, driven Jamal Murray for the whole regular season,
that's a good.
This team could be a 2 or 1 seed in the West still.
I seen a preseason game. I think personally that Denver, they're going to get the Washington Wizards version of Russell Westbrook when he was in Bradley Beal's ear and made them good. You see how good.
Well, and really, it's the quality of minutes that he gives to give Murray the rest.
Yeah.
And the Nuggets, and I'll get into this when I start making my picks. The Nuggets are basically. It's going to be how much they can do when Jokic and Murray aren't on the floor. Mm-hmm. Because this whole have Murray play with the second string and all of that, we can't. We're past that now.
Oh yeah.
His body will not handle, and Jokic too. By the time they get to the playoffs, they're going to be exhausted. So those minutes, especially in the first half of the season, those resting minutes are going to be the key to the Denver Nuggets season this year, period, hands down.
That's definitely going to play into Russell Westbrook because he's a high motor. And
the more he can play and the more that the Nuggets can score on the second and just blow out teams in the first half of the season.
They're going to rest them to their two main guys.
They'll
so
be
the
fine.
thing is, that's really smart. I was just thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? This is a really good pick for them because the thing is, he's going to carry them. They're going to have to lean on Russ, and I think that
Well, and it's similar to the KCP conversation where you talk about an emotional leader for a team, right? I mean, normally you go as your best player goes. Everybody knows, for everything that Jokic brings to the table, as far as on the court is concerned, like, he's never going to be the most vocal guy in that locker room, and you certainly don't have an emotional leader in Jamal Murray. Everybody knows that.
Actually, he is kind of the heartbeat. He is the emotional leader of the team.
Yeah, but he's a little volatile, it seems like, at least from the outside looking in.
He's definitely the heartbeat of the team, and as they don't win without him. I get where you're going with that, but they honestly don't win without him because without him, those 2 years or 2 seasons that they did, they were basically bounced really, really early. And he is the spirit and the drive. He's the one that makes those miraculous, crazy shots that drive his team to win games. But back to Russell Westbrook, though, he's going to play that Bruce Brown role, but better than Bruce Brown played it, and he's bigger. And he's going to facilitate a lot more. Like Bruce Brown, they needed that when they won that championship coming off the bench. They needed that spark, that guy that could, score when he wants to, but also facilitate when he needs to. And Russell Westbrook is that, but a better version. But he's also an older version. So that's what scares me is because they tried to get that out of Steven Jackson last year, right? But Steven Jackson, his wheels had come off. Like it was obvious. Right. There was some flashes of the old Steven Jackson, but not he wasn't himself in any way, shape, or form.
They're a little bit different.
Russ
has a motor and has taken care of himself, though. That's the difference.
Right. Well, they're a little different players, too. Bruce Brown's obviously, I think, a better shooter, a better defender than Russ is, especially at this stage in his career.
Very fair.
But to your point, Russ, of course, better motor, better slasher, better facilitator, rebounder, all that stuff.
He's got good size.
But, again, my point goes back to, Jamal, I get the impression he's the type of guy that when things aren't going like the way... Like,
he pouts.
When things are going well, he's a great emotional leader. But when you need, the team to get picked up off the mat, like Jamal is going to quit on you before he does that.
And Jokic was like that, too, at one point in time, and that's why they could never win.
And that's not Russell, man. Russell
he's going to get on his special.
Yeah.
He came to this team to win a championship. Yeah. He didn't come to this team to watch you pout. I'm with you on that.
Russ is a dog.
I'm with you on that.
Russ is a dog. He's going to sense that. He's going to sense if you lacking in leadership and stuff, and he's like, you're not going to lead me.
He's not just going to push Murray, though.
No.
He's going to push the whole team.
Yeah.
And as long as his voice doesn't get too overbearing, it will drive this team to win a championship and help him get that ring.
Yeah.
But back on to Larry's, because we could talk about that all. I'll talk Nuggets all night.
Yeah,
we'll do the last 15 minutes of the show on Nuggets.
He can talk. Yeah, he talk Nuggets a lot. Anyway, Thursday I got OKC just because they the Thunder. I like that young team.
Because they're the Thunder.
Just because they the Thunder.
Thunder. The Thunder.
I actually like that song. But I think they play it at their pregame. But anyway.
Okay.
The fourth.
Actually, I can attest to that because I've seen the Nuggets play in OKC and they actually do play.
I would get hyped for that song for sure. The first one that came to my head was whatever Imagine Dragons Lightning and the Thunder, and that's way less inspiring than Thunderstruck for sure. So I'm glad you went that direction with it. Definitely.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right, number 4.
In my 4th spot, I got Sacramento Kings.
Ooh.
Oh.
So you saw that spirit in play.
Hot take alert.
Yeah. Okay.
I did, man.
I'm pretty high on Sacktown too, man.
And even though DeRozan scoring the Lakers and went up north. But,
that's why I'm so high on him is DeRozan. Like they upgraded their backcourt now has Fox and DeRozan.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
with Sabonis, the kind of dirt. I don't want to say dirty because it's not dirty. It's all legal, but he does that little I don't know. He just the way he plays is a little, but just that little triangle that they have now, I'm with you on that. I don't know if I'd put him in the top 4.
Oh yeah.
But I'm gonna have them in my top 6 though.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have them in my top 6.
Y'all got me feeling low on them. I could see them being above New Orleans and Houston in mine for what it's worth. Yeah. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're stuck with yours now.
I know. I locked it in.
Put them where you put them.
I locked it in. I did.
You locked in, buddy. In the 5th spot, I'm gonna go with Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah,
you have to give me a good reason why you're putting them so high.
Man, even though I seen that big 3 of theirs flounder, but you know what I'm saying, Bradley Beal, Book, and KD, I don't know how they're gonna do in the playoffs, but they're gonna get a 5th seed.
They need to be deeper to get in the top 5.
They need minutes with the 3 of them on the court together.
Yeah.
You know, they got to build some chemistry.
I'm pretty sure
there.
I have.
You know, to a certain extent, the way Booker played in the Olympics does give a little, does kind of give a nod that they might be a little bit. He's matured. Is basically he matured a lot playing on the Olympic level. Mm-hmm. He actually played really, really well, and I can't stand Booker, but I like his game.
I was just gonna say I try not to be biased because I don't like the guy as a person. As far as the personality we see, obviously, who knows what he's like behind the scenes. But like that dude's a baller for sure.
Dude,
I will never forgive him though for that pandemic season when there was nobody in the stadium. There was the Raptors mascot dancing around behind the free throw line while he was shooting, and he acted like somebody had like called his mother like some insult or something. Like he was so offended by it. It's like, dude, are you a professional or are you a child?
He's a bit immature.
You know?
I'll admit. As we were talking about Tim Patrick, just a side note, he just scored a touchdown for the Lions.
Son of a gun. There you go.
Just scored. Was his knee down? His knee was down. Never mind.
Oh, it's close.
Anyway,
it's close.
It's close. Sidetracked. But no, I notice things. I have this dad brain where I can split my mind in different places.
Yeah.
I am listening to both of you, and I am still watching this game, and I'm keeping tabs. I don't know how I do it.
You got to be able to grab both children if they go opposite directions, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I usually work like that, Brian.
He'll learn one day.
That's a good.
All right, so Phoenix in that 5 spot. Okay,
and New Orleans in that 6 spot.
Nowlands.
Got the New Orleans.
Okay.
All right, and then it's gonna start getting a little dicey. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to put the Lakers at 7 spot.
Okay.
Yeah, it was coming.
I think that's just wishful thinking on your part. But
come on. That's that's the highest. Even an optimist could put LA.
Exactly, bro.
Above the play-in when they've been in the play-in for the past at least 2 years.
The 7th seed is in the play-in, bro.
Okay, but you have them at 1, 2,
7.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But they've been in the low play-in.
Bro, last year they was in 7th.
Okay, they was in 7th the year before that too. I know.
Yeah,
I just like talking bad about the Lakers.
I'm not. Yeah.
Oh, my Broncos are getting smashed right now, 20-0. That's not okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right.
The 8th spot I got Memphis.
Pretty low on Memphis.
Yeah, somebody got to be. Anyway,
somebody got to be. That's true. I mean, for all we know, Ja could still be in the club waving guns around, and it could be a whole different season for them, to be fair.
That's actually really fair. Okay.
Yeah.
See?
Last but not least.
No, I got two more, right?
You do.
I got two more. Yeah, I'm not picking them. I want Golden State. And
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have Golden State in that 9th spot. The last hurrah of the one splash, not the two. The one
splash, bro.
Can I change? I want to change that. I want to put the Mavericks 7th, and I want to put the Lakers 8th.
Man, you low on Dallas.
I'm kind of low. But hey, they disappointed me. They didn't beat you guys.
Hold on. So Phoenix, New Orleans.
Yeah.
And then
Dallas. And then the Lakers.
Dallas. Lakers. Memphis.
Yes.
It does.
Golden State.
And then Golden State
is
rounds
the
it out.
that rounds it out. Yeah.
It does bring me a lot of joy to think about all the media that was picking Dallas to win that NBA Finals.
I knew they wasn't.
And then watch them get smoked.
I knew they wasn't gonna win.
They're so anti-Boston in the national media. I swear they are.
Really? I find that hilarious because I think they're probably pro-Boston, pro-LA than anybody else. Maybe the Knicks. You might get edged out by New York for Boston a smidge. But
New York is always going to be the headliner.
But I know on NBA Today, Malika and her team had Boston coming out of the East for sure.
Man, if you
there's
watch,
no more national media than that. So.
I mean, if you watch like the Stephen A. and like these types of dudes.
Well, Stephen A's a Knicks fan. I mean, you have to take that into consideration.
Yeah, but
Knicks fan.
everybody on his show as well, man. Like they were all like one. I think one. They had like I remember the show. I don't remember who all was on it, but they had like 5 people picking. One person either gave it to Boston or like was like, oh, in 7 for Dallas or something, and everyone was like. Like what? It was like, are we watching the same? Like everyone thought that like Luka and Kyrie were the 2 best people in that series.
Hey man,
by
that was
head
the
and
whiteboard.
shoulders.
That was the whiteboard fodder that your team needed to.
Yeah, that's fair.
To push themselves, because in all honesty, if we're being real, like let's just be real.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time they have reached a certain pinnacle point, like let's say when they got to the Eastern Finals, lost.
Sure.
Right. The year before that, they didn't get to the Eastern Finals because they lost in the series before that. They get to the finals. One might have an argument like they usually fail when they take that next step, and then maybe next year they'll do it. But I agree with you. There was a lot of people thinking that because Dallas was so hot going in, that a lot of people were very, very, very high on Dallas winning. Speaking of Dallas, they just had a crazy run back just now.
They needed it. They're getting smoked.
Yeah, they sure are.
Yeah, and listen, I'm not trying to say like Dallas wasn't hot going into the series, or if it had been Denver, Boston, like I could understand picking that, but like. Right. Dallas had also never been there either. So to act like it's a bigger deal,
that's fair.
To act like it's a bigger deal that Boston had come up short.
No, I was just playing devil advocate.
No, I know.
If you were,
I know, for sure, sure.
Ryan, so you say the Dallas never been where?
So that, like, I mean, at least not
that team had never been to the finals.
They obviously, I know the Dirk
your
team.
team haven't been to the finals until that point either.
Yes, they did 2 years earlier against Golden State, and they were up 2-1 in that series, man.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. He's like, yeah. Let me get the receipts out.
Trust me, I remember all too well. And honestly, like, I think that Boston-Denver series the year before would have been great if we hadn't come out, with our, what's up or what against Miami those first 3 games.
Well,
you
can say head up your ass. That's not really cursing.
Okay, fair.
Well, the thing
they
is,
say that on the radio, on the radio.
Okay, Mr. FCC, right, to let me know what words
I do know the
can
FCC rules. I did go to school for it. You can say ass. It's okay.
Can we say booty?
Let's not go down this road because all of a sudden you're going to cross the line without realizing
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we should just stick. We should just stick.
FCC.
We should just stick to the basic words. A little
head
nice
up their
word.
backside. Is that what you
Exactly.
Yeah, that'll do. That'll do, pig.
YouTube, there are no FCC rules.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
See? Yeah.
Yes.
We're just trying to.
Anyways, Larry.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Okay.
Let's just stick to the basic baby words.
Larry, the one complaining last week that he couldn't cuss. That's why we had to cut the show short.
Oh my gosh.
I don't want to.
Now he's saying that we can't say ass, but that's okay. All right. So the FCC won't let me be.
Let me be me, so let me see.
I'm very
on MTV, but it'd be so
don't say ass.
me.
I had to go there. Anyway, all right. So we're running out. We only got 7 minutes. Let me get my picks in here.
Yeah, right.
All right. So in the West, I'm not going to go with the homer pick because I do think that the Nuggets will fall to the second. I think they're going to run to the second place. Only because of the fact that they're not going to be chasing the first.
Sure.
And it's only going to be, they could get that first seed. They could get it, but it'll depend on how many good minutes, non-Jokic, non-Murray minutes they get in the first half of the season.
Pick 'em.
So I am actually going with...
Do it. Pick 'em.
Pick who?
Your team.
Larry, you're giving a very devil on the shoulder vibe right now, bud.
Yeah, he's being creepy is what he's being. Like, what
Pick
are you?
'em.
Who's your team?
Yeah, baby.
Who your
your
team?
team?
He's using that R&B voice
Yeah,
on
that's
me.
what I'm saying. It had
You're a
to
little
co-
too
it had
close to
come
me
out
be
at some
using the
point.
R&B
Yeah.
voice on me, dog.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Late night in the West Conference with
Denver
Nicola.
Nuggets.
You guys.
It had to come out at some point.
Oh
Pillow
my
talk with Nicola.
God.
It's a mile high.
I just want to win. That's the pillow talk. I just want to win.
Mile High Magic.
All right.
Jamal Murray.
I'm
going
gonna
to
go with OKC. OKC as my top pick. I'm gonna go with Denver as my second.
Low on Minnesota, huh?
I'm very low on Minnesota. I don't think they're gonna.
You
get
don't
back.
even have them 3, do you?
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I could sense it in
I
your
do
voice, man.
not have them at 3.
Yeah.
I don't have them in the play-in. I don't have them dropping that low. But
Dang, I dropped my team all the way to 8.
because Sacramento has been on the cusp for so long,
I know, Ryan.
I'm putting Sac at 3.
Larry, I don't think he's going to have your boys in the top 10.
I don't think he's gonna.
I'm not.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, there
no,
you go.
they're gonna be like
I'm
12.
not.
What are they gonna be 12?
Probably last.
Hey,
Man,
Okay,
that's-
so OKC, Denver, Sac, Minnesota in that 4th spot.
Anyone give Utah a shot at the play-in? Sorry, I know I keep derailing you.
No, you're fine. And no.
Okay.
To answer
All right.
that question.
End of that
sorry, Larry
conversation.
Marketing.
Got
You
it.
can't.
No.
Okay.
All right,
Just had to bring it
OKC,
up.
Denver, Sac, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I'm going to move Dallas up right after that.
Good for you.
And then I'm going to put Memphis in that spot.
Great barbecue.
You are stupid.
Barbecue chicken.
Not as best as
2,
Vinny's
3,
though.
4, 5, 6. I'm actually going to put Phoenix in that 7th spot.
Best barbecue chicken, Chuck.
It's barbecue chicken, Vinny.
And
Now we're talking.
these guys are something else. I can't keep this show on the rails at all. Going off the rails on a crazy train. Let's see.
What the heck? Bunch of knuckleheads.
Bunch of knuckleheads. New Orleans. And then. And
Man, you
then.
high on Sacramento. Look at you.
Bruh, I am. I
Yeah.
watched them play the other night, bruh. That DeRozan addition, it adds.
Yeah.
They've been on the cusp for so long without that extra star power because Fox has star power, but he's the only all-star really on their team. Now they have 2, and that is a dynamic backcourt, and they have solid role players. I can see Sacktown rolling in and people taking them for granted.
That's why I got 'em
and
at
them
4.
winning a lot of games. I don't see them going very far in the playoffs. I'm just high on them. This is regular season.
Are you
okay?
putting DeRozan over Sabonis on that
I am.
hierarchy?
Yeah.
I
I don't know
am.
if I can do that. I like DeRozan for that team, but I don't think you're giving Sabonis nearly enough credit.
I'm giving him credit. He's the solid 3, and it might even be a 2A, 2B situation.
He's the 2 in my opinion for sure.
he has the personality to be the 2.
That dude's a baller.
He is a baller, and I
Yeah.
like Sabonis, but he's not playing his natural position. He's not a center. He's more of a power forward, and they don't have a true center. But
Do you need one in this NBA though? If you've got a point forward that stretches
to your point, even if you put him at the 2, even if you because he's not an all-star, right? Has he been into an all-star?
Yes, yeah. He's been an all-star.
Was he? That was with Indiana, right? But not with Sacramento.
No, I think with Sacramento as well, man. Let me pull
Double
up.
check that for me because
I
I'm
will.
pretty
Sacramento,
sure.
yeah.
I'm
And
pretty
Indiana.
sure he hasn't been with Sacramento. But
Yes,
double
he-
check that for me
yeah,
while I'm
he
thinking
has.
of my next pick.
He has.
He's already checking.
I'm pretty sure he has.
Dude, 2-time All NBA, 3rd team, man. Like
Yeah, that's not all-star. But 2-time All-NBA is
All
good.
NBA,
All-NBA is a
better
little
than-
bit better. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, let me see. Sabonis All-Star. I party.
I party like a rock star.
Party like a rock.
All right, so let me see. New Orleans is after. Who's after New Orleans? I'm gonna go with with the Clippers.
Sabonis was an all-star 3 times, 2020 and 2021, 2023.
Yep.
Oh, so he's been all-star all 3 years there. Okay, so then I stand corrected.
And NBA rebounding leader each of the last 2 seasons, but he's not a center.
I'm not knocking it. He's not a center. He doesn't. That's not his natural position.
No, I know.
I'll die on that hill.
No,
that's not
fine.
his natural
but
position.
he is 6'10", 240. 6'10", 240 is plenty big to be your biggest man on a closeout starting 5.
When he comes up against players like Jokic, when he comes up against like bigger size centers, Wembanyama, and all of those players,
you got to double those guys anyway. Though it doesn't matter if you're 7
but
foot.
he loses a lot of size as opposed to like Phoenix, who has Vucevic, right? He doesn't give up size. He still can't play like a Jokic 1-on-1, but he doesn't give up that much size.
AD played straight up.
I have a lot of regrets. I want to move Sacramento up to my 6.
GSW.
You were locked out, bro.
It's too late.
You locked out.
Dang it, man!
It's too
Come
late,
on,
man. No.
give me this one.
All right, nope. It's too late. It's too late. All right, so I've got OKC, Denver, Sacramento, Minnesota, Dallas, Memphis, Phoenix, New Orleans, LAC, and GSW, all rounding out my top West. And like we did with the NFL, maybe we should have done 3 hours.
Yeah, no kidding.
We have run out of time, and that's going to do it. My big thanks to everybody here and Vinny behind the boards. We are the Sports Fiends, and we will see you next week at 2 p.m. Peace.
Thank you for having me, boys. This was fun.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.